Welcome to myeyeacademy.com. Do subscribe to the channel to see the upcoming videos. This is VPL 1.10, which is a continuation of VPL 1.9, and in this video we'll discuss 15 common presentations, topographic presentations of cornea. Just a quick review of 15-point guide. First we will see the overall shape, then the posterior elevation, anterior elevation, thinnest location and Y coordinate. Then we will decide whether the patient has got a normal or abnormal cornea and then confirm it with these parameters, and finally we'll confirm or reject our findings with the help of the indices. Let's start with case number 1. First of all, see the overall shape. On the SAP map, the overall shape is cool uniform. On elevation map, it is an hourglass, and on the Pachy map, it's a CCC, which is central cool concentric rings. So all of these are the patterns of a normal shape, so most probably it's a normal cornea. Next, look at the posterior elevation and anterior elevation, which are in the normal range, and look at the thinnest location, which is much more than 470, and the Y coordinate is minus 0.26, so all of them are in the normal range. So we think most probably it's a normal cornea, and we'll confirm it with the findings in the SAP and in the Pachy map. First of all, in the SAP map, look at that. There's a bow tie here. Astigmatism is less than 6 diopter, Kmax is less than 47, there is no SRAX, and superior inferior or inferior superior are within the normal range, so everything looks normal. Let's see the Pachy readings. Look at that. The superior inferior is 567 and 545, so this is less than 30 difference, so this is in the normal range. Look at the Pachy apex to the thinnest location. The Pachy apex is 510 while the thinnest location is 508, so it is less than 10 microns, so everything looks in the normal range, so we think most probably it is a normal cornea. So let's confirm it with the indices. All the indices are within the white normal range, so which confirms it is a normal cornea. That's how you use a 15-point guide to interpret your topography. Let's move on to case 2. Look at the case 2. The shape patterns, cool uniform, green this type, hourglass, CCC. Let's go to the next criteria. Posterior elevation, anterior elevation within the normal range, thinnest location normal range, Y coordinate is minus 0.51, which is almost normal. Confirm it with the other things. On the SAP map, there's a bow tie, which is not very clearly visible. Astigmatism is less than 6. Kmax is normal range. No SRAX. Superior inferior and inferior superior readings are in the normal range. Let's move on to the Pachy. On the Pachy map, there is superior inferior is 570 and 578, 570 and 578, which is in the normal range. Then we look at the Pachy apex and thinnest location. The Pachy apex is 517 and the thinnest location is 513, so the difference is less than 10. Everything looks normal, so this is a normal cornea, and it is confirmed with all the indices here, indices here, and these indices, which is confirmed as a normal cornea, and that's how you interpret. Right, this is case number 3. First of all, the overall shape, cool uniform shape, hourglass appearance, and CCC, which is central cool concentric rings, so everything is in a normal range. Let's move to the elevations. Posterior elevation, anterior elevation are in the normal range, and so as the thinnest location and y coordinate, so it is most probably a normal cornea. Confirm it with the SAP map readings. Astigmatism is less than 6, Kmax is less than 47, there is no SRAX, superior inferior and inferior superior are within the normal limits. Let's move on to the Pecchi readings. The superior inferior on a 5 millimeter circle is less than 30 difference, and the Pecchi apex to the thinnest location is less than 10 difference. So everything looks normal, so most probably it's a normal cornea, and we'll confirm it with the indices. All the indices are white, like the DF, DB, DP, DA, all of them are, and the total D is also within the normal at the white limits. So this is a normal cornea confirmed. That's how you interpret. Let's move on to the case number 4. Case number 4. Look at the overall shape. This is now not cool colors. It is a red hot. Look at that. It's a red color. And look at the posterior elevation. These are islands and these are hot islands. Hot islands is abnormal shape. And look at the rings. These are concentric rings, but these are not cool concentric rings. So these are hot rings. All of them are indicative. The shape parameters are indicative of abnormal cornea. Let's see, look at the other parameters. Look at the posterior elevation. It is higher than the normal limit. It is in the suspicious range. Look at the thinnest location. It is less than 470. The y coordinate is in a suspicious range. So all these are findings are indicating that it's most probably an abnormal cornea or keratoconic cornea. Let's confirm it with the other parameters. Look at that. It's a bow tie, it's a hard bow tie. Astigmatism is within the normal range. There is a little bit SRAX, which is almost 22 degrees, and superior inferior readings are more than 2.5 diopter. Let's see the pachymetric readings. Look at that here. The difference in the superior and in an inferior on the 5 millimeter circle is more than 30 micron. And look at the Pecchi apex to the thinnest location reading is more than 10 micron. All these are indicative of abnormal or keratoconus cornea. So this patient has got a keratoglobus or keratoconus. Let's confirm it with the indices. All the indices are within the red range. All the indices are within the red range, and the balance curve is deviating before the 6 mark, and it's not following the dotted lines. All this is confirming that it is a abnormal cornea, which we actually interpreted ourselves without the indices. Let's move on to the next case. This is case number 5. Look at the shape here. The shape is not cool uniform, but it's a cool bow tie. Look at that cool bow tie, the yellow colors of the cool colors. Look at the posterior elevations. Now we have got the islands, but these are the cool islands. And on the Pecchi map, their CCCs are central cool concentric rings, all indicative of a normal cornea. Normal posterior anterior elevations, normal thinnest location, normal y coordinate. Let's move on to the SAP map. We have got a vertical bow tie, and vertical or is with the rule, which is a good astigmatism. Astigmatism is within the normal range. There is no SRAX. Superior, inferior, inferior, superior indices are normal. Move on to the Pecchi map. Less than 30 micron difference at the 50 micron at the 50 millimeter circle, and Pecchi apex to thinnest location is within the normal range. So all this is indicative of a normal with the rule astigmatism cornea, and we can confirm it with the indices. All the indices are within the normal range. Case number 6. Here again we have got a horizontal bow tie, cool eye lens, CCCs, all the parameters 2 to 5 are within the normal limits, and then the parameters 6 to 11 are within the normal limits, parameter 12 to 14 are in the normal limits. Let's confirm it. This is a normal against the rule astigmatism, and we can confirm it with the indices that all the indices are within the white range, so it is a normal cornea with against the rule astigmatism. Case number 7, look at that. It's again a cool bow tie. This time it's an oblique bow tie, and we have got a cool eye lens and CCCs. 2 to 5 parameters are within the normal range. Then the SAP parameters are within the normal range. Then the Pecci parameters are within the normal range. So this is a normal oblique astigmatism, so normal cornea with oblique astigmatism, and we can confirm it with the indices. All the indices are within the normal range. Case number 8, look at that here. The bow tie is of the cool colors, but its shape is slightly asymmetrical. Inferiorly it's wider and superiorly it's slightly irregular. Though we have got an hourglass appearance on anterior and posterior elevation and cool concentric central rings, so only the bow tie is not symmetrical, is slightly asymmetrical. Let's see the other parameters. Posterior elevation and anterior elevation are within the normal range, and thinnest location and y coordinate are within the normal range, so it's most probably a normal cornea with slight asymmetry of the anterior surface. Look at that. All the parameters, SAP parameters are within the normal range. All the Pecci parameters are within the normal range. So this is perhaps a normal cornea with slightly irregular anterior surface. Let's confirm it with the indices. Look at that. All the indices are in the white or yellow range. There is yellow color on the DF, which is the front elevation marker, and this corresponds with the irregular bow tie, but the other ones, particularly the DB and DP, are within the normal range. So overall it's a normal cornea, though we need to follow this patient. Right, if we move on to case number 9, look at the overall shape. This is irregular bow tie with hourglass appearance and CCCs, so there's a doubt about the SAP map reading or irregular bow tie. Otherwise they're normal shape. All the parameters are in the normal limit, so it is a most probably a normal cornea. Look at the SAP map readings. All the readings are within the normal range. Look at the Pecci readings. All of them are in the normal range. So this is an irregular astigmatism, and let's confirm it with the indices. Look at that. Only the DF, or the front elevation, is slightly in the yellow range, which corresponds with the irregular shape on the SAP map. Otherwise D back, which is the posterior elevation, and DP, which is the pachymetry progression, and DT, which is the thickness at the thinnest location, and DA, which is the displacement of the thinnest location, all of them are in the normal range, and the total D is within the normal range. So this is a normal cornea, and we need to follow up the patient to look for any possible progression towards abnormality. So we start with the case number 10. First of all, look at the overall shape. It's a hot bow tie, and it's an asymmetrical hot bow tie. Look at the island, the hot color of the hourglass appearance, and the hot concentric rings. These are concentric rings, but these are hot. So all the shape parameters or shape patterns are abnormal. Look at that. The posterior elevation is much higher than the normal, and the thinnest location is 432, and the y coordinate is minus 0.47. All of them are, except the y coordinate, all of them are within the abnormal range. So this is probably a keratoconus cornea. Look at that, the y coordinate is 0.47, but every parameter doesn't have to be abnormal. That's the point. So we confirm it. Look at that. We have got a SRAX here. Look at that. This is like this, and this bow tie is like this. So the difference between these two is more than 22 degrees. So the SRAX is more than 22, and the other parameters, like look at the K max, it is more than 47, and the superior, inferior, superior are in the abnormal range. And look at the Pecki maps. The Pecki map, the difference between the superior and inferior is more than 30 micron, and the difference between the Pecki apex and thinnest location is more than 10 micron. So all these confirm is a keratoconus. So this is a keratoconus with the big SRAX, and we can confirm it with the indices. All the indices are within the red range. Look at the indices here and look at the Bellin curve here. Everything is abnormal. So indices confirm our findings. Right, the case number 11 is a very important case, and it will emphasize the importance of posterior elevation. Look at the overall shape. It's a bow tie here. It's a cool eye lens here. Cool concentric center rings here. But look at the posterior elevation. There is a skewed hourglass appearance. So this is perhaps the only abnormal thing in the shape patterns. Now look at the other things. Posterior elevation is 25 here. Otherwise, the anterior elevations and the thinnest location and y coordinate, all of them are within the normal range. So the only posterior elevation is in the suspicious range or is higher than normal. Look at the SAP map readings. All the parameters, including astigmatism, K max, superior, inferior, inferior, superior, all of them are in the normal range. And look at the Pecki map. The superior inferior is on the 5 millimeter circle is in the normal range, and the PA to TL is within the normal range. So everything in this topography is within the normal range except the posterior elevation, which expressed itself in the skewed hourglass appearance. So I think this is not a normal cornea, and the only abnormality on this topographic map is the posterior elevation. So this is perhaps a posterior keratoconus, which is a start of a keratoconus and which could be the only positive finding in the abnormal cornea. So let's see, it is a posterior keratoconus. So now we need to confirm or correct it with the indices. Look at the indices. Look at that. D back, which is the posterior elevation, and DP, which is the pachymetric progression, are both within the abnormal range, which makes the total D in the red. So it confirms it's a posterior keratoconus. So this case emphasizes the importance of posterior elevation, as this patient had all the normal parameters except the posterior elevation, and is still we diagnose it as a keratoconus. And now the case number 12, it is exactly opposite to the case number 11. Look at the overall shape, hot bow tie, hot rings, cool eye lens, and small separating hot eye lens. So this is a mixed pattern. These two are indicative of abnormal cornea, while this is indicative of a normal cornea. Let's look at the other parameters. Look at the posterior elevation. The posterior elevation is within the normal range, while the thinnest location is less than 470 and the y coordinate is minus 0.25. So this is a mixed pattern. It may be keratoconus or may not be keratoconus. Now remember, we have got a normal posterior elevation. Let's confirm it with the other parameters. All the SAP parameters are within the normal range, including the Kmax, superior, inferior, and inferior superior readings, and the Paki readings are less than 30 micron, and the difference between the Paki apex and thinnest location is less than 10 micron. Now, this may be a normal or maybe an abnormal cornea, but the main thing is that posterior elevation is within the normal range, so it's more likely to be a normal one, but the shape patterns are abnormal here and abnormal here. So let's see. This is a normal posterior elevation, which may be an abnormal cornea because of the other parameters. Look at the indices. DP and DX are abnormal, which makes it a very suspicious, though the DB, which is the posterior elevation, within the normal range. So this is a mixed pattern. It may be keratoconus or maybe early keratoconus, which is not evident, or there may be a problem in the test, so we need to repeat it. So we need to keep a close eye on such patients which give you a mixed patterns. Now the case number 11, look at the shape. There's a bow tie, and the bow tie is more widened superiorly, so it's a superior steep. And then look at that, we have got a hot eye lens and we have got an irregular bow tie. All of them are indicative of abnormal cornea. Look at the posterior anterior elevation and thinnest location and y coordinate. Except the y coordinate, every parameter is within the abnormal range. And look at the SRAX. There is a SRAX here as well. And then look at the superior and inferior difference, which is more than 2.5 diopters. And look at the Paki readings. The Paki readings are more than 30 micron difference on the superior inferior 5 millimeter circle, and there's a more than 10 micron difference on the PA and TL. So this is a keratoconus with superior steep. Let's see. This is a keratoconus with a superior steep. Now we need to confirm or correct it with the indices. Look at that. Almost all the indices are within the red range. All the indices are within the red range. So this confirms that this is a keratoconus. Let's move on to next case. This is case number 14. This is exactly opposite to case number 13. Look at the overall shape. There's an inferior steep this time, and these are asymmetrical red or hot bow tie. Look at the hot eye lens. Though the rings are concentric, but they are not regular, they are irregular. So all these are indicative of abnormal cornea. All the indices are in the abnormal range, including the y coordinate, and we confirm it with the SAP map readings and with the Paki readings. So this is a keratoconus with the interior steep. Let's confirm it with the indices. And look at that. All the indices are within the red range. All the indices are within the red range. And the Bellin line is not following the dotted line. So this confirms our finding. So this is a keratoconus with the inferior steep. And the last case. First of all, look at the overall shape. The overall shape, look at the SAP map. It's a recognized pattern, which you can see in the VPL 1.5, and it's a kissing bird pattern. And look at the elevation maps. We have got a donut here and we have got a donut here. And we have got the concentric rings, but these are irregular and hot. So all of these are indicative of abnormal cornea. Let's see the posterior elevation in the abnormal, anterior elevation in the abnormal range, and the thinnest location is in the abnormal range, though the y coordinate is normal, which means the cone is not displaced, but it is there. So we think this is a abnormal cornea. Let's confirm it with the SAP maps. On the SAP map, look at that. There At the 5mm circle, we have got a 38 diopter here and 51 diopter here, so there's a difference of more than 2.5. And then look at the Kmax. Kmax is much higher, and let's confirm it with the Pecci readings. On the Pecci one, we have got a 562 reading superiorly and 480 reading inferiorly, which is more than 30 micron. And look at the Pecci apex and thinnest location. The Pecci apex is 472 and the thinnest location is 457, so the difference is more than 10 micron. All these are indicative of abnormal cornea, and we confirm it. It's a pellucid-like keratoconus, and we confirm it with the indices. Look at that, all the indices are within the red range, and the indices are here in the red range, so it confirms our findings that it is a pellucid-like keratoconus. Thank you very much for being with me, and do give your feedback, which helps me preparing more lectures. Thank you very much.